We are aiming to do something that feels like a fresh start.
Don't people say you shouldn't be looking for the right person, but actually the right wrong person?
Jake, thanks for taking the time to chat with me today.
Patrick,
Now, obviously, with season two, there's an entirely new cast. You've got a totally new narrative. When it came to like the visual language of season two versus season one, did you similarly set out to set the language apart, or did you try to maintain consistency to that first season?
very good question. I think like from a shot structure perspective, like we were trying to maintain a certain level of consistency. Like there's a language to beef that really like ties in the character perspective and imbalanced coverage, something we sort of came up with on season one that we did want to continue. And it's, become kind of just part of the way that I direct and the way that like Sunny has also embraced as a director. I think in other levels, visually, we absolutely wanted to take a different step, and that was something Sunny really felt from the beginning. And we have, the amazing James Laxton shooting the season this year as opposed to Larkin Seipel, and they have very different perspectives on imagery, even though they're both like incredible masters of their craft in their own way. And then Grace Yoon, our wonderful production designer, like really embraced the kind of new aesthetic for this season that she and Sunny, worked on very closely. And so I think in a lot of ways, like Sunny's always kind of looking to push it to be different and almost talks about it like, like if you were into a band, like you would want to see the next album develop and be something new and not just kind of go back to the same aesthetics as the previous one.
Well, and kind of along the lines of the evolution from season one to season two, like season one was developed in much more of a bubble, and you got to release it, and then critics loved it, fans loved it, awards groups loved it. So, like, did the reception to season one impact how you developed season two? Either, even just from a logistical level, how you brought season one to life to how you brought season two to life, or was this another like creative bubble where you just tuned out all the noise and just stuck with the original vision?
I think it didn't feel massively different in that way. We weren't having to hide actors' costumes as they went to set or anything like that. I think, one thing that's so great about Sonny is he's so kind of self-critical and pushes himself so hard and wants people around him that push him hard as well, that like there never was any sense of kind of resting on laurels or this has to, I mean, there's pressure, but there's always pressure when you're making something to make something good. It's so hard to make something even good, that, you want to aim for great and just hope that things work out. I think, yeah, it didn't feel dramatically different, than season one. It felt like we had an incredible group of collaborators and people that really wanted to make something that felt personal to everyone involved and just make the best thing that they could.
You mentioned not having to, hide people's costumes or anything like that, and my bosses would be upset if I didn't at least try. But I know you've
The
been
door.
briefed.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, yeah.
I gotta try. You can't talk about a lot of this X-Men that you're working on. Is there anything you could even like vaguely tease as far as like how many familiar characters versus new characters, or new talent versus old talent, if it feels like a fresh start, if it's a healthy 50-50 mix?
I would say that we are aiming to do something that feels like a fresh start and going for something that feels new and really like something that Kevin has pushed for is this idea of what can we do that, within this world, it's such a massive world. And I've spent, the year just kind of rereading a ton of it and like the entire Claremont run and so many different, the great work that Grant Morrison did. I mean, there's so many different interesting takes within this world. And that shouldn't be a clue as to anything. I mean, that's just for background and just to kind of live in the world and, how deep that world is. Just thinking about like, what are the corners of it? What are the sides of it that maybe haven't been, done so brilliantly in so many of these great movies that we can sort of, where areas that we can explore where it feels like we're doing something new.
Well, and even though it didn't work out, I spoke to Steven when he was promoting Invincible, like, hey, we got to get you back with Jake. And he was singing your praises. He wants to come back. So if you find a space for him, as Mojo or something, get Steven in there.
I love Stephen very dearly, and he's one of the very best actors that we have. So I mean, I would never not be looking for places to, but No specifics. So
Sure, sure. Well, Jake, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me. The series is fantastic, and I can't wait for more folks to get to check it out.
yeah, awesome. Thank you so much.